Hi everyone and welcome back on AdobeLive.com. We have been streaming from Adobe Max in San Diego since this morning, and this is the last stream of the day. And this will be a funny one because we will welcome several Adobe experts, community experts on the booth, and they will share some tips and tricks. I have no idea about what they will do, what they will share, but yeah, let's just have fun, for the last one. So let's discover our first guest.
Hi.
Hi. Can you introduce you?
Yes. My name
chat.
is Kelly McCatherine. I run a user group called Creative Cloud Lovers. I'm based in San Francisco and I teach all of the Creative Cloud except Premiere and After Effects.
Yes. So, what is your tips and tricks? What do you want to share?
My favorite, most exciting things I show when I'm teaching hands-on Adobe classes is the collection of mobile apps. If you look at my phone, this entire list are all my Adobe apps, and there may be some alerts that pop up. But I'm going to show two of my favorites.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Adobe Capture, which I can't tell you how often I need a graphic. I don't want to search online for it. I've got the item in my hand that I need to illustrate. And the pen tool is beautiful, but it's time consuming. So today I need an earring graphic. So I'm pulling the earring out of my ear, but I needed it to be editable vector. So with my phone, I'm just pointing to said earring, moving it in good light, and once I get the image captured close enough,
maybe here you will be
better. Thank you. Helps to have a white tablecloth. As I slide here, I can pick up certain parts of the earring. So what you're noticing is the green is what's going to be illustrated or traced, and of course as a designer I have to fix the angle, or I can just sing the song Let It Go and take the picture. So as I slide that up, here's what I want. I'll capture it. If it picked up shadows or picked up elements I don't want on the shape, I could select or deselect. So I could add a little bit more of the shadow, or I could deselect a portion of the image. So before it even lands in Illustrator, I'm perfecting it. But to get to the actual anchor points, to get to the Bezier tools, that's what I want. So when I hit next, I can give this a name, and I actually keep shape libraries around. So I have several Creative Cloud libraries that sync to Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Acrobat, all of the above. So I'm targeting it to shapes, and that's where I'm going to have it go. I'll give it a name. We'll just call it ear for the sake of time, or eat. And then I will hit return, and I will decide to save that. So when I hit save shape, it's available to me in all my apps as fast as the little Wi-Fi will go. I'll launch InDesign, but I also want to take a look at the editable vector, because this is something I used to use Adobe Streamline to do years and years ago. And I get blind sometimes where I can't see Illustrator. Did I lose my shortcut? There it is. But while we're waiting for Illustrator to launch, I could take a look at it in InDesign. If I want to whip up a new document, turn off the text frame, hit OK. In my CC Libraries panel, I have a primary one that I use to keep colors that I create, or images that I reuse over and over again, brand identity like Adobe Pantone 485. Here I can flip it to shapes. It'll take a moment to update, but the earring's already ready. I could drag and drop it onto my InDesign page, or I can click and drag to make it the size I want on my InDesign page. But if it's not turning out the way I expect, I'll pop over to Illustrator. And in Illustrator, I actually keep my panels arranged the same way they are in InDesign. So I don't think about how to do it, I think about what I'm doing. Artboards, layers, swatches, CC libraries. InDesign calls them pages, layers, swatches, CC libraries. So it just makes the workflow between apps a lot easier. I'll whip up a new page with Command-Enter, Control-N in Illustrator. I'll go to my libraries panel. I'm in the shapes library. I'll stretch it, pull it out, and it may be a little bit large, so I can use my select or direct selection tool to scale it down. And you'll even see it came in pieces. If I don't want that little hook to be included, I could just delete it. But I can use Shift, scale it down proportionally, and more importantly, hit P for pen or A for arrow, and get into tiny little pieces and marquee select, and I don't want those elements. So just hit delete. I could simplify the shape. It's my own artwork. I could make it any color. It's pure editable vector, which is super cool.
Yeah, and Adobe Capture is a free app.
It is.
iOS and Android, so anyone can download it now, right in the
Almost all you need is a free Adobe ID and password.
Yeah.
However, I do like the Creative Cloud subscription because one thing I use the cloud for, and it doesn't matter what computer I'm on, is to back up my Creative Cloud files. So I've spent 15 plus years writing handouts, and if my laptop dies or if stolen, I can log into any computer anywhere in the world and get the most important assets. So I even did a project, an InDesign article on the Roald Dahl dictionary by Oxford University Press, and to deliver that content, if you're on the Windows platform, you'll find your Creative Cloud app, which I'm looking at here, down in the notification area by the clock, but on the Mac it's there. In Assets, for the files that I'm storing, if I view them on the web, instead of paying for a Dropbox subscription because I don't send enough big files, I simply put it in my Creative Cloud Files folder, and then I shared that zip file to deliver the screenshots that I needed for the book.
Yeah.
I made it a public link that anybody has access to. So I use it in all kinds of different ways that I don't always see Adobe demoing, but it's saved my bacon more times than I can count. I even keep a social media document there with like all of my social media links, so they're quickly copyable and pastable. I don't have to remember long URLs from my user group, or just don't have to type.
Yeah,
I
nice.
do have 2 more things to show.
Yeah, sure. I would just ask our friends in the chat, because we have a lot of Creative Cloud members. Do you sync files and assets with your Creative Cloud accounts? Maybe you can let us know in the chat.
Thank you.
What do you want to show?
The other big thing I love with Creative Cloud assets and libraries, and pardon me, it's dry in this trade show, is the ability to build a color palette. So a lot of times I'm looking for inspiration, and a lot of people don't know that with the same app, Adobe Capture, I can hit colors at the top here. I hit the plus sign, and I can grab from my camera, so I'm pointing to that down there, live elements in my environment. I could hold it up to the trade show floor so you can see what's going on here, or I could target my Wonder Woman bracelet, freeze it, capture a color palette, and use it for an ad campaign, or individually modify the hue and color. So when I hit next, again, we'll name this, and I'll just keep it star so it's simple. But this time, my primary library I use, I'm just going to name it Sta, is my CC assets and files. So I tap CC assets and files, I save color theme. Again, it's available in my primary applications, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and I can use it on a piece that I need to develop. But the biggest thing I find is if I switch to my library, CC assets and files, there's my Sta set that I just created, just my colors added. I have a lot of brainstorms and ideas late at night. Do you ever get those things like a work project's on your mind? I use Adobe Comp to get my work started without leaving bed or pausing the show and getting into work mode and getting on the computer. So earlier today I was thinking about a campaign that I want to do, or a social media ad. So here in Adobe Comp, I can create a new document, but the beauty of this workflow is it pushes to Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. So I can start the work at night without going into full work mode, continue it in the morning. So with Adobe Comp, I can select a project, I can create a new project, I can go to my work, I'm tapping the plus sign, and I want to update my Facebook cover photo. I'll grab an image from my hard drive, so on my device, I'll grab my Halloween costume, tap it there, and just as a side note, I did use Photoshop Fix to skinny up my waist and blur out the people in the background, because nobody should know actually my size on social media. And, sorry, I know this is probably painful for you guys as well as me, I'll finish up. And the other thing I did was I used Adobe Spark to get font inspiration to create a piece of text to add to this, and I just saved it with Adobe Spark on my device, so I've got a little caption, a little piece of type that I created. I'm not dressed as Wonder Woman, I'm dressed as a single mother, so I put 2 different options in my layout. I can collapse it, push it over to the desktop, and decide which one I use. I could size and scale it here, but directly from that spot, send it over to InDesign CC, and if my computer's on or when I wake it in the morning, it'll be up and open, and now I can do real hardcore typography, real layout, but at least the idea is out of my head, and I can hopefully sleep.
Nice.
So it takes probably about a minute and a half here on the trade show floor
Yeah.
to push over, but I flip back to InDesign and it will open right there, or it could be Photoshop,
because
or it could be Illustrator.
upload all the assets. I mean, your pictures. Here you go
And there it is. It's all ready
in
to
the
go.
cloud. So yeah.
Do you
Great.
use a lot of Adobe apps?
Yeah. I use a lot of apps, especially the drawing apps. I use Capture a lot. I use Capture also to capture some looks from my movies that I apply in Premiere Pro, and Photoshop Sketch a lot. Usually I start sketching my hand lettering,
Right.
and then I send it to Illustrator. So my base is using Photoshop Sketch, and then in Illustrator I use the Bezier curves and everything. So no, I'm a big fan of the.
And I always joke
workflows.
that Illustrator Draw is one better than the bar napkin,
Yeah.
because if you sketch with your finger or you
You feel
sketch
it,
with
yeah.
your iPad,
So we had
you've
that
got
metaphor
vectors.
just before, and people in the chat had exactly the same feeling. Oh my God, it
Yeah.
looks so clean, etc. So, okay, we have some questions for you.
Yes.
What is your favorite update in Adobe CC 2017?
There's such a long list, and
Yeah.
quite honestly, I haven't had a lot of time to play. I've been in the lab all day. Everything they add to the library feature is great.
Or maybe what you liked during the keynote this morning? Like what?
Well, a lot of the shiny, flashy, chromy things
Yeah.
are video-based, and that's the one area
Yeah.
I'm not heavily into, but I am super excited about Adobe XD. I work
Oh,
with
yeah.
a lot of developers. I actually train people who do mock-ups in Photoshop, really large companies who create these landing pages that are 2 gigabytes because of all the text and character and paragraph styles. So the prototyping of real live work in Adobe XD is phenomenal. I've done some 3-hour sessions for very large corporations trying to move away from doing that in Photoshop because of the bloat with the file size, and I just want to see the tool set grow more and more so it's more viable for the high-end companies, the large ones in the Bay Area that I work with in Silicon Valley.
Okay, and yes, so people are joining. Yes, we are live from Adobe Max. It's very late here. It's in San Diego. It's the end of the day. And thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, it was lovely
Great
meeting
job,
you.
yeah.
And I will see you on YouTube.
Yeah, so make sure to find Kelly. How can they connect with you? Maybe
If you
Twitter?
check out creativecloudlovers.com,
creativecloudlovers.com.
that's my Adobe user group, and
There you
Twitter,
go.
I'm online instruct.
Okay. Online instruct because you are a professional trainer, I guess?
Yes, I do e-classes
It
using
makes sense.
Adobe
And
Connect.
e-classes. Okay, so that's right. Yeah, I saw some people looking for your YouTube channel.
I
but you
don't have a
do
YouTube channel yet, but check out Jesus
Next move.
Ramirez. He'll be up, the Photoshop training channel. Phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
So we will welcome, I guess, a new expert.
Sandee Cohen is right over there.
Yeah.
So I will pack up and we'll scoot it over. Okay.
What's happening? Andrew, what's happening? Oh, that's the list. Oh, Joseph. We will welcome Joseph Labrecque. Oh, merci.
Au revoir.
So Joseph is... thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
See you soon.
And thanks for this great introduction to the Model Labs. So now you will meet Joseph, long-time friend. Hey, Sherry. And Joseph, yeah, I mean, we were, when we were like in the Flash gang. We were in the Flash game. And Joseph, I think, will share with us some stuff about Flash and the Swift, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Good. So we put you some microphones.
Just one, I think, will be enough.
One should be enough, yeah, for that. Okay, so we have
Sorry, brother.
about
HDMI?
7 or 8 experts we will see because at some point we will have to shut down the stream.
There we go. Should be good.
So
Right on,
Joseph,
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah,
Last time
it's
it was at
been-
Max, I guess.
It's been some time, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about?
Today I want to talk about some of the benefits of some of the things you can do with Swift that people might not understand. So
Okay, maybe we can start by explaining what is a Swift. So
Yeah.
it's a SWF file.
Yeah. So SWF file, it's been created by Flash Professional for years and years and years, of course. Generally, it runs within Flash Player. However, Swift is also used to do things for, applications and games on iOS and Android, and pretty soon Apple TV with the beta of beta 24
Oh, nice.
of Air. So, aside from that stuff, though, aside from being like integrated with a runtime, there's also some really useful other kind of, not more creative applications exactly, because, things
More
people have been doing in...
benefits for developers, you mean? Or?
No, not for developers, but for like people who are doing some web stuff, or like web design, or people who are doing video design. So I want to show, a couple of the kind of newer features that are available now in Animate CC.
Oh, cool.
That you can actually do to sort of have a better workflow between certain programs and certain formats, focused on, what you can do with ActionScript 3 file formats and Swift.
That's great. We had Jaza with us this afternoon. He's a Flash animator also. He made me dance. He made an animation of me dancing and twerking. It was very embarrassing, but it was great. I hope that you won't make me dance.
What kind of file format did he use? What was his document type? What was it?
Flash, Swift.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, now that for years and years, people didn't want to talk about what they actually do with Swifts, They didn't want to talk about, I animate stuff in Flash, because it's sort of like people are going to say things about them. But, ever since the rebranding and everything, it's a lot more open. You can talk about it again. And I noticed that with the animators. They're like, there's so many benefits to Swift. I always work in Swift, So, some of the things, I've got an ActionScript 3 document type right here. And for people who don't know, for people who are new to Animate, when you create a new file, you can create all these different document types. So you can choose to create something for HTML5 canvas, even WebGL, 3D acceleration in the native browser. And then you've got things like ActionScript 3 and Air for desktop, Android, and Apple iOS. So ActionScript 3, when you choose this particular document format, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be even thinking about Flash Player, even thinking about ActionScript. It's just called ActionScript 3 because that's the platform that you're working with. It's the target platform. And Animate CC being a platform agnostic application now, you're kind of free to choose whatever platform you want, especially if you're doing stuff with video and you're generating like web graphics and web animation. There's lots of different options, even if you choose ActionScript 3. So why would you want to choose ActionScript 3? There's a number of different reasons. For one thing, you've got things like the 3D rotation and translation tools.
And regarding this first screen, so we have a question by Ryan asking, so how your workflow changed with the adoption of HTML5? Like we all saw it coming and now it's in the tool.
Yeah.
So did it change your workflow or?
Not really, because the great thing about Animate is that you're always working in the same file format. So it's always just basically an FLA or an XFL document, which is an uncompressed FLA, but it's the same document type, whether you're working in HTML5 canvas or you're doing something for Flash Player or you're building a game for Apple devices, whatever it is, it's always the same workflow, the same way you animate stuff. Anything that you know from working with ActionScript and working with Flash Player can be easily used, especially when doing sort of the more visual creative elements inside of Animate. Where it gets a little weird is when you're doing any sort of interactivity or code,
like games.
Because that is, of course, dependent on the target platform. What's really cool about Animate, though, is that it doesn't matter. Like, if you're working in Canvas, then you're just going to write JavaScript inside of Animate to make your interactivity. If you're doing something for Air or Flash Player, you're going to be using ActionScript. And honestly, they're so close when it comes to a lot of the stuff people use it for in here, like moving stuff around the timeline, positioning elements, hooking into movie clip symbols, doing interactive things that it's very negligible, the differences. And if you have differences and you don't know ActionScript, you don't know JavaScript, there is this code snippets panel, and there's even code snippets you can see here for WebGL, HTML5 Canvas, and ActionScript.
So snippets are like a short sample, like short portions of code that you can drag and drop and start from there, such as, I guess, bouncing ball, or I don't know, like a...
Yeah, you can see some of them here. They all pretty much have basic stuff like timeline animation.
Yeah.
So it's like, go to this frame and stop, So just stop on this frame.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah, but one of the newer things that came out today is HTML5 canvas components.
Oh,
so
nice.
you've been able to use components inside of Flash Player and Air for like years and years and years. Components are things like, buttons and date pickers,
like UI components.
Even video playback is now available inside of
with the canvas.
Yeah, inside Canvas document.
Oh, interesting.
Which is really cool. And there's code snippets in here even for that. So if you want to do interactive stuff with Animate and you don't know any code, you can still do it. And
Nice.
you can learn from it. You can learn how to do some neat coding stuff in here. But with ActionScript 3, there are some benefits to using it if you're just doing visual stuff. If you're not doing interactive, just visual, you've got stuff like 3D rotation and translation tools, which let you go ahead and move stuff around in space in a sort of 3D way.
Interesting.
So you've got things like that. When you're talking about the new camera tool, which actually isn't being used here, but I'll turn this on right now. This is the new camera tool inside of Animate, and using this, you can go ahead and zoom and pan and all this stuff. And then when you scrub through the thing here, you've got that going on. Maybe what I want to do is kind of start there, and after the arm comes up, let's go ahead and add a keyframe here. So I'm going to insert timeline keyframe. And I want to insert another keyframe over here where we do kind of like a quick zoom out, So we're gonna hold on it, zoom out. So I'll insert another keyframe, and if you like function keys, then you can do F6 to do that. And I'm gonna just do a little classic tween here, and you can do motion tween or classic tween.
Okay.
And then over here on this keyframe, I want to zoom back out and reposition my pan. I'm zoomed out a little too much. That's okay, I can zoom back in. And so then if we play that back, it's got that. Then it goes to the zoom out, pulls it back. It's a very simple thing, but the camera is something that people wanted for years and years and years, and now it's finally here.
We have some questions about like HTML5 animation. So Darlene says, but I have some issues on some mobile devices with CSS animations. So that's why also with Adobe Animate, where every time we do animation, so it's either in the canvas or leveraging a JavaScript framework, the frameworks takes care of that. So we'll try to run on a maximum of devices, so we are aware of the issues we can have with CSS animations. And then the Shazman is asking, can you animate for HTML5 purely? Like you. I open Adobe Animate, and I just want to animate for HTML5.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You can choose HTML5 Canvas or WebGL.
From the start.
And you can just...
And you would do the same.
Yep.
Yep. You would do the same with the arm and stuff. Yep. All the keyframes.
Yeah. And you can also convert between formats.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm doing stuff in here as ActionScript, and somebody comes to me like, oh man, that was great for the video, but we want to be able to actually do this on the web too, as just a native web animation.
Web page on the iPad. Then,
you can play on the iPad, on Android devices, on whatever. You can actually convert under commands here to other document formats. And you can choose, I want HTML5 Canvas, I want WebGL, or even custom stuff like animated interactive SVG is completely possible through here. So it's really neat. It's flexible. It's a very flexible system.
So flex.
Yeah. Yeah. Flex.
Oh, flex.
So the camera here, you'll notice that we've got a couple of color effects that you can use on the camera. Nice. So things like tints. So if we kind of...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you can apply a tint to the entire camera, which is basically applying it to the whole scene. So if I wanted to at the end, just make stuff blow out super red, you can do that, And you can also do color adjustments like brightness, so you can take it down, do neat things with contrast.
So actually it behaves as a layer adjustment. It's a bit like this, like in Premiere.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Yeah. However, those particular color effects are only available with ActionScript 3 document types.
Oh, Joseph.
So, it's another benefit of targeting ActionScript 3 and Swift if you're doing something like that. So what a lot of people are doing, a lot of animators, of course, they don't just export stuff, right?
Yeah.
They'll export through HD video. So you can go and export as a video through here, and then it's going to create like a raw video format that you can then pull into any program that you want and
Premiere.
further edit it. Or you can even throw it through a media encoder and do it
encode
for YouTube or whatever.
And I think you can export 4K videos. I mean.
Oh yeah, you can like blow it up. And
Right.
one of the neat things too, if we choose export video, we can actually like blow this up to like 1080 if we want to. And Animate, Flash didn't used to be this smart. You'd do that and like things would get all jacked up. The way they have this set up now, they have true stage scaling where all the content scales as well.
Oh.
I mean, it's beautiful the way it works.
That's nice.
So you can do that. You can also do, if you're interested in exporting animated GIFs. And doing the animated GIF export, this looks very much like Photoshop, right? So this is a completely new image export, GIF export. Animated GIFs have been available in Animate and Flash Professional before it for quite a while, but they're kind of, it was kind of really basic, really janky. This is like, real animated GIF export. You got full control over everything. It's really beautiful. And the same applies for other image formats too. One of the really neat additions though, what you can do is Swift is, if I take my camera off here, I can go into my publish settings, and you can see you've got all these different formats. So yeah, we could publish as a Flash Swift, but if you don't target Flash Player, you don't want to do that, right? So you can choose any of these other things, and there's a new one here called Swift Archive. And what Swift Archive is going to do is, you notice I have all these different layers here, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and hit publish, and it's going to publish as a Swift Archive for me. And it's done. So if I go into my Finder, you'll notice that I have this zip file with the same name as my FLA. And if I double click on it, it's going to blow up into a folder that's full of multiple Swift files, right?
Okay.
So I have a Swift file for each and every one of my layers. Like if I go in here and open up the skeleton one.
One Swift file per layer. Interesting.
Yep. So every
So
single
what
layer.
would be the use case of that?
So the use case of this is I open up Adobe After Effects.
Oh, you can import Swift files in After Effects.
You've been able to do it for a while, but it's kind of a pain because, most people who are doing stuff in After Effects, they're compositing stuff.
Yeah.
So they want to treat each layer independently, treat each one different.
I see.
So now you can actually just grab all those,
And it preserves the transparency.
pull them into your project. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
And then you can just pull them all down here. If I can select them all. Pull them all down into my project, create a new composition. Thank you, After Effects. And at this point, I can go ahead and you can see it even does the camera stuff for me here, right?
Yeah.
So I've got one that's got a bunch of effects on it already that I can show. It's kind of like pre-bake oven, right? File, open recent. And
say no way.
Which one is it? This one. No, I don't want to save those changes. So here's one right here, and as I scrub through,
Oh, nice.
you can see, although I think my resolution changed when I plugged in the
Oh, yeah.
HDMI,
That's why.
did something to After Effects, so I don't know if I want to quit it. I don't think I have a lot of time left, so. But you can basically see,
Yeah,
I've done
applied
all
effects
sorts of like
on specific
wonky
layers.
stuff to it,
That's cool.
Of course, it's a little much, but for illustrative purposes, that's the sort of stuff that you can do with this new Swift export.
It's amazing, huh?
Yeah, it got jacked up with the.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's great.
It's okay. I think it's self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
That it's really neat. And you can see down here, these are all my little Swift layers, and they completely match here. So I'm using like armatures with my skeleton here and so forth, and beautiful. And if you've never used armatures before, you know, that's another topic.
So we have the Shazman saying, watching this just made me want to go and reinstall Animate. I see.
Yeah, I mean, Animate, you know, if you haven't checked it out in a while, especially since the rebrand,
You'll be surprised.
you know, the Animate team at Adobe has done so much stuff over the past year.
So we had
Year and a half.
AG, the project manager, he was with us this afternoon.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And I mean, they had 4 releases this year.
Yeah.
And every
And
time,
it
boom.
even geared up before the rebrand,
Yeah.
like when it was still Flash Pro. All of a sudden, like just this flood
No,
of
it's true.
features came pouring in. And you know, at Max last year, you know, I did a couple sessions
Yeah.
and labs about that stuff. And of course, it was still Flash Professional then. So, you know, people were still kind of worried because of the F word and
It's true.
everything. So, you know, now with it being Animate and with Adobe committing to building, you know, this awesome multi-platform, platform agnostic content animation and interactivity engine, you
So
know,
cool.
it's beautiful.
Thanks. So someone is asking, how do you get the camera? So this is in the update of this morning, actually. Adobe Animate
Yep.
CC 2017. We were very lucky to have Joseph like sharing this very, very new feature requested by so many animators who used to use script and plugin, you know, to fake the camera. I don't remember the name of this plugin, like VCam 2 or something.
Yeah, there were a couple of
Yeah.
like little plugins you could use for that sort of thing.
So that's great.
Yeah, check that out. We can do rotations with the camera too.
Nice.
So you pretty much think of the stage as like
Yeah.
the viewfinder, you know, of the camera. And you can always toggle now, this is a new feature, to clip the content that's outside of the stage. So we get this nice outline around it now,
Nice.
and we can clip that on and off if we want to. It cleans things up for when we're working.
Great.
yeah.
So Joseph, if our friends wants to find you on Twitter, maybe to ask questions, what is the best way for you? Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter's great. I'm always on Twitter, so I'm just
So-
at Joseph Labrecque.
That's just Labrecque. Okay, they can
Yep.
see their name in the lower third, in the
Perfect.
title. So
Yeah.
you can find Joseph on Twitter, and he's the Adobe Animate expert. He knows a lot of apps actually, but he's one of the Animate experts. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach him. You know, ask questions. And yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
It was
thank
great.
you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
who's now? Yeah, and please say thank you to Joseph in the chat. And there is a 30 seconds delay, so that's why it's a bit
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah.
I know you got it.
All right.
So I think it's time to welcome. Who's next? Sandee. I think. Can you find Sandee Cohen?
Okay. I will.
Yeah.
Keep going?
Let's keep going. No, come on, come on.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Joseph. See you.
Oh, am I stealing your mic?
Yeah, no, you're
wired.
Oh.
taking it for a walk. There we go.
All right, gotcha.
All right.
Hey. Good. And you?
Good.
Yeah, you can put it on there. Okay, guys, we'll be back now with a new Adobe expert, Chana.
Chana,
Hannah. I can say Hannah if you want.
should I do that?
Yeah, perfect. And now your computer is live. You have a microphone, so yes, if you want to introduce yourself to
Yeah,
our
hold
friends
on.
in the chat and explain what you will show, and
Okay.
let's do it.
Hold on a second. Go back here.
And we are still live from Adobe Max in San Diego. This is getting crazy around. Someone was asking the chat, are people fighting around? No, this is a skateboard ramp, but maybe they fight, maybe you're right. But using skateboard, so that's why it's so loud.
Cool. So we
Cool.
start
Yeah,
already?
yeah, please introduce yourself to our
Hi, I'm
dear
Chana.
friends.
What?
Yeah, we have friends in the chat today.
Yeah, no, okay, cool. Hi, I'm Chana Messer, and I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm an Adobe ACP and a certified instructor for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and Lightroom. Basically kind of certifiable. And what I want to show today is Adobe Illustrator. One of my favorite tool is Live Paint, and I'm going to show you why I like it. So
Nice.
I'm going to start with this flower over here that I created,
And let's say if I wanted to take every petal over here and make it into a different color, I probably will go, in the beginning everybody goes to the Pathfinder, and if we're looking here at my layers panel, it's going to become a group, and each petal is going to be a different path over here, and I can start colorizing it, which might take a toll on Illustrator in terms of the amount of paths that I have. So instead of that, to create the same thing, I'm going to go to this little guy, the red flower, and before going to the Pathfinder, I'm going to create live paint. So I'm going to go to Object, Live Paint, and Make it. Make live paint.
Okay.
You can see the bounding box here. It tells me that it's live paint. I'm going to go to my swatch panel and actually deselect everything. I'm going to go to the live paint buckets. And over here in the live paint bucket, what you can see that I have my swatches already there. And I can double click on the paint bucket and change the highlight to maybe a different color. So this one is a red flower. And then I'm going to go in and let's say colorize it.
So
I'm
to
colorize
switch
the
to
petal.
another color,
I can
you
switch
use
to
the
another
arrow
color
keys.
with my arrow keys and do a wonderful flower with colors that do not match, but I can do that. And then I can go in and choose another color. I actually can go in here too. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to hold on the Option or Alt key and select a color and go back and do the same color. So if I forget which color, I can just do that too. But what's really fascinating here, that basically I do have the same petals, the same amount of petals from before. So if I'm going to do Command Y, Control Y, I do have the same petals.
Yeah.
I didn't cut anything.
So just a few shapes, but
It's just the same shapes that I had before, like the 10 shapes, and they're all in live paint.
just 10 shapes. And it's amazing.
So it's really cool. It helps you do a lot of stuff when you start drawing. And then if you really feel like creating shapes from it later, I can always select all of it.
Yeah.
And I can go back here and I actually can expand it. And once you expand it, it becomes like a Pathfinder.
Well,
So
I'm
it's
just
kind of
answering
like-
some questions in the chat because they're like, oh, how can she's switching colors. So this is using the arrow keys, like left and right.
Yes, left and right
When
with the
you have a
arrow
swatch,
key.
yeah.
And while you are on the bucket, what you get to it with the letter K,
Yeah.
that's the shortcut, you can go in. So basically what you can do, you can decide on any color that you want to use and even work like that. Not even see anything and just
Yeah.
go in and
Like
colorize
full
the
screen,
stuff.
and you just start walking.
Yeah, so
Amazing.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, we have Mark Anthony saying, oh, that's sick. She's a god. I'm going to use this tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful.
There you go.
So now I'm going to tell him how exactly I can do some other stuff like this. Look at that.
So
Here,
simple shapes,
simple shape, like 4 lines.
4 lines.
Right, so in general, when you do 4 lines, can you go and fill anywhere? No, you cannot fill anything because there are 4 separate lines. But I'm gonna go again, Object, Live Paint, and Make. I made it into Live Paint. I'm gonna double click here again, and in this case, I'm gonna go in and click, and look what I can do. I can actually fill the area. When I do Command Y or Control Y,
Yeah, 4 lines.
it still remembers 4 lines. More than that, the question for everybody is, can you move it?
Yeah.
Yes, I can with the direct selection tool. I can do
Wow,
stuff
look at
like
that.
that. So that's cool, right?
Yeah.
There is more to it.
Super
I
smart.
I can go to the Live Paint selection tool now and basically select just one part of the line. One line, right? I'm gonna go to this line. I'm gonna make it 15 point. I'm gonna make it different color. And I'm even gonna go in and make it dash line. And what do we have? I'm gonna do Command or Control Y. I
four
still
lines.
have the 4 lines that I have there.
Amazing.
So that's what Live Paint let you do is basically it looks like 4 lines, but it's not behaving like 4 lines. And it's really cool because it will help you when you scan trace images and you have open areas a lot of time. That's when you can close them. One thing to pay attention to though, if I'm gonna go another line, let's say I'm gonna do one like this, one like that, one like that, and one like that. I have it the same like before, so I don't wanna have dotted line. I'm just going to say no dotted line and make it a little smaller. Before doing anything, I'm going to go in and make it again to live paint. So I'm going to do make. But I'm going to go and show you another area. There's another area here that says gap option.
Oh yeah.
And by default, it's there. But if it's not there, and then some places are open, it's not going to fill.
Oh.
So if I'm going to go to my thing here, see, it doesn't want to fill. It doesn't want to fill because it's not really seeing what I have. But if I'm going to go back to live paint and gap options and say gap detection, now I'm going to go back here and do that. So this is really perfect, especially when I do image trace. And if you do a lot of stuff, let's say I'm going to bring it from capture, and I'm going to bring it for shape, and it has a lot of areas that are not closed. I will close that with live paint and make the gap detection a lot bigger, and then I'll be able to draw a lot of stuff fast.
Nice. Oh, it's awesome. It's very impressive to see. I mean, when you move the line and everything is still a structure.
Everything is still
Very
there,
slow.
and you can do anything. So I can just basically do stuff like that, and people don't realize it's basically the 4 lines.
Oh, it's
How
amazing.
cool is that?
Very cool. No, they're very impressed in the chat.
Cool. Oh, I
that's
can
very
see
nice.
that. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So very happy.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you very much.
I mean, see you around now.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say thanks to Hannah in the chat, please. And it's time to welcome our new speaker.
There you go.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Who's up next?
Colin.
Colin is next. It's time for Colin Smith. So yeah, it's very powerful, like this live illustration. Hi, Colin.
Hey, how are you?
There you go.
You want to
Let's do this.
Take your badge off because it might rattle on the microphone.
Okay, we'll just give a few seconds to Colin. Okay, and then
I don't have the new MacBook Pro yet.
no, you don't have the touch bar. Are you looking for some power? You can use mine.
Yeah, just because I'm
Pretty low, you can use mine. Okay, Colin, if you want to introduce yourself to our friends in the chat,
That's it?
if you want to introduce yourself to our friends, and explain what you will be talking about.
Okay. In chat or talking or what do we do?
You talk. They can listen to you.
Oh, so we live right now?
Oh yeah, you're live.
So everyone can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey everybody. Sorry, I sound clueless right now. Oh look, yeah,
Yeah.
Colin. Hey, what's up, David? Oh, David, good. Good to see you, man.
So, what
all
is
right.
your demo about?
Okay, so I'm Colin Smith from PhotoshopCafe.com, and today I'm going to be doing something called Smart Objects Can Do That.
Smart objects can do that. They're
Or
so smart.
can Smart Objects do that?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe they're not that smart. We will see.
All right.
Okay. Let's see
So-
in the chat. I mean, you all know what is a smart object, I guess. Okay, but let us know in the chat. So you open a Photoshop file.
All right, so here we go. I have a Photoshop file here, and this is from my drone. I fly drones,
Oh,
in case
nice.
you didn't know. So
Which
this
one?
is
The DJI Phantom?
yeah, I actually have a number of them, but this one here was shot with my DJI Phantom 4 out at Nelson, Nevada during NAB this year. We were doing
Oh,
a
nice.
workshop, and so this is a ghost town there, so it's kind of fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to turn this into a cartoon,
Ah.
and then I'm going to do something with the cartoon.
Okay,
So how's that sound?
let's do it.
So the way to do this to a cartoon is really easy. I'm just going to hit Command J. Notice it's already a smart object, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to make a copy of it. In the past, we used to convert this to black and white, then we would invert it, but we don't have to do that because there's a new blend mode that's been in there for a little bit of time now,
Okay.
and that's called divide. And if we do divide blend mode, what it does is isn't that beautiful?
It's a Malevich.
Okay, it needs something.
Blank, it's beautiful.
So what I
pure.
can do is make a difference. If I add a little bit of blur here, just give it a little blur, I can make this a cartoony, like a comic book kind of
Oh,
thing.
look at that.
So I go really high here, it just looks like a really bad photo, but if I take it down, I can do pencil sketch, see that?
Nice.
Or cartoony, we're gonna do it there, and I'm just gonna save this out. I'm just gonna choose File, Save As, And I just wanted to prepare that, so we're just going to call it Nelson After, which is what I called that before, but let me just replace that. And I'm just replacing the other one, so that's it. So I'm done with that. I'm going to close it. So now what I want to do is I want to use that, embed it as a smart object inside an image. So I'm going to grab an image here from Adobe Stock, and I've got this one here. If I double click on it, we've got a girl reading a book. Yeah. Let me just hit Command 0 to fill it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the book and I'm going to replace it with this cartoon.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab the Quick Select tool, and we're just going to go around here. And the Quick Select is great, works really fast, much better than a tragic wand. If I hit the Alt or the Option key, I can go here and just trim the edge of that book there. See, that's pretty good. And that's not even using a tablet, it's just using the trackpad, so it's not bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean it up here. We're going to choose the Select and Mask.
Okay.
And on the Select and Mask, I'm just going to smoothen that a little bit, just to make it look better. There we go, so it's just going to make it smoother. And now what I want to do is I want to output this just to its own layer, so I'm going to output it to a new layer with the mask. So I'm going to go into the output, and we're going to use new layer with layer mask, click OK, and here we go, we've done it. So if you look underneath, we've got our whole thing there, and there we've got the book cut out. Now the reason we've cut out our book is because I can use that as a clipping group to put our picture in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed it. So we're going to choose File, and we're going to place embedded. So now we're going to take this is with the smart objects here,
Illustration.
and we're going to place it, and I just want to scale it, so I'm just going to hold down the Shift and the Option to scale it from the middle, and then just twirl it around a little bit, just kind of positioning it. Hit Enter. Now we want to make it fit the book. Really easy. All we do is go between these two layers here, hold down the Alt or the Option key, we see that little arrow, and then when we click on that, what it does is it
look at that.
creates a clipping group. And with the clipping group, you can move it around. So, you can reposition it however you want. Okay, so that's sort of our effect, but there's one question you might ask. What's this got to do with smart objects?
Yeah.
I didn't need a smart object for that, did I?
I don't see anyone.
So why did I bother using this? I'll tell you why I use a smart object. Because one of the things that a smart object does inside of Photoshop that a lot of people don't know is it supports video. So when I was working on that layer, I wasn't actually turning a photograph into a cartoon. I was turning a video into a cartoon. So check this out. So if I pull this all the way across and I hit the play button, watch this. Now her book is animated and it's moving.
So cool.
So that's my little tip. So I hope you get, at Photoshop Cafe, I see someone there in the comments.
So how can they find you? Like Photoshop
You can
Cafe?
subscribe to my my YouTube channel at photoshopcafe.com. I do a new video every week, a new tutorial. And photoshopcafe.com is my website where I
Someone
have
is asking also if you're on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter at Photoshop Cafe. I'm on Instagram. And also on Facebook.
And Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean.
So, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was tricky. You're like, oh, what is he doing? And then boom, he plays the video.
Yeah, well, you gotta. Yes. What can you export this to? That's a good question. Would you like me to answer that?
Yeah.
The way you could export this is we could export this as a video, and we could just choose File, and we would choose Export, and then you would choose Render Video. Now, if I wanted to say put this on YouTube, it's going to take a second here. There's all these codecs and stuff. I don't know how good you guys are, on video.
Encoding.
If they're experts on video. But, what you can do is just choose a preset. We can just go to YouTube, 1920 by 1080, and then just hit render, and that will create a video, and you can put it on YouTube or you can put it on your tablet. There's a whole bunch of presets there, as you can see. You can, YouTube, Vimeo, Android, iPhone, Apple TV, all that. So
all
just
the settings are there.
grab a YouTube, grab a preset, and you're done. So thanks, guys. Thank you for having me.
One more export, maybe we can show to our friends because they talked a lot about it today.
Okay.
You can still do the classic save for the web and export an animated GIF. So this one would be weird.
True.
This one would be big.
It would be pretty big. But you can size it.
It would be huge, but you can resize it.
We can resize it down here.
But
I
this would be too
probably
big.
should have changed the size before I went into GIF,
yeah.
because now it's got to convert it
analyze all the
to
pixels.
256 colors.
It
So
will be the
let me hit the
biggest
escape. There we
GIF
go.
ever.
And you might make it, I don't know, what would you make it, 800 by 600 or something like there. And it's going to take some time.
Yeah, that
But
will be
you
easy.
can do that and then export it out that
Export,
way.
and this is how you create very easily. That's the best workflow for animated GIF. Drag and drop a video in Photoshop and save for the web.
And if you want to put it on Facebook, either upload it to Jiffy and then link
Yeah.
it, or put it to your website, and then you can take the hot link from your website and put it onto Facebook, because you can't do an animated GIF directly to Facebook. You guys probably knew that.
Yeah, good point. Thanks, Colin.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Cool, yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
So,
And
guys,
they will
hang in
find
there.
you,
Someone else is
Photoshop
coming.
Cafe. Easy to
Thank
find.
you, everybody, for watching, and
And yeah,
hope you enjoyed it.
be careful with the microphone. Our friend will help you.
Hey, Bert.
Okay, so who's next? Do we have Monika? What do we have? Okay,
Some comments. Was that you guys?
one more. We have more community experts coming, sharing tips and tricks. We hope you enjoy that. They really know how someone is mind blown. Yeah, that's cool. Which one do you need? Yeah, this one. Forward. Yeah, it should work. Okay, we will just add the microphone and we will have more tips and tricks by our community experts. Maybe you can show a GoPro angle. There are a lot of people around us now. Why? Because they can have drinks. I'm so dedicated, guys. With Andrew, we are so dedicated. Now we just stay here, all having drinks. We stay for you.
Some of your files at low-res layer. I want to do some stuff.
But yeah, we have a lot of people now. Okay, can you see our friend's screen? Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do it. So if you can introduce yourself to our friends
Okay.
and explain what you will show.
All right. Hi there. My name is Sandee Cohen, and I've been working with InDesign for a long, long time. And one of the things that I'm going to show you is actually something I'm going to be doing it in InDesign, but you can use these tips and techniques in either Illustrator and then a tiny little bit in Photoshop. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first thing, and we're going to talk about, let's say we start a new document in InDesign. Well, you can see that my document is in picas, which is the default for InDesign. That's how it ships. Well, all my students hate picas, and they want to go into inches, and or if they're
or
in
centimeters,
or
right.
centimeters, millimeters, agates, and
Whatever.
well, anything but picas. So what I'm going to do though is I can start a document. I actually have another document open here, and I'm going to zoom in to show you the first secret tip.
Secret tip,
A secret tip.
like Sandy.
You take the control or the right mouse and you press, and you can change the document to any unit that you want. You can also, if I come over and press on the 0 point, you can change it there. So let's say I want to go to inches. My document is now in inches. But
There we go.
wait, there's more. I can, and I'll zoom in again so you can see this. I have the ruler here. Here's a secret shortcut. Command, Option, Shift,
Option, Shift.
or on Windows, Control, Alt, Shift, and then tap the letter U. U for units.
Oh, look at that. Units. There we go.
So I can change my unit of measurement on the fly at any point. I'm going to go right there. I'm in inches. All right. So let me zoom out. And let's talk about making objects. So right now I have an object on my screen, and I want to make it a certain size. Now, I see all these people on the, my students and desks. I see them, and they all have these pieces of paper.
Okay.
So you may not have this in Europe with centimeters, but in inches, they all have things like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/8 inch, and they've got 0.625 equals 1/17. I don't remember what it is, but I don't need those charts. Let's say I want this object to be 4 inches, 4 7/8 inches.
Okay.
Okay? So what I'm going to do is zoom in so you can see this. And I'm going to go 4 and then plus. You see, I'm typing in a plus sign in the field. And then I can type 7/8. I don't have to learn what the 7/8 is. And then all I have to do is hit the tab key. And InDesign does the math.
You can do the
for
math
me.
directly in the field.
Yes.
That's cool.
That's why we call this do the math.
Now it makes
Or
sense.
let InDesign do the math. But wait, it gets better. I'm going to go back and go to picas because that
Oh my
is.
God. Always.
Now wait. I can here type in plus 7/8, and then the quote sign. Now what I've got here is 29p3 plus 7/8 of an inch. These are two different measurements in one field. Can we, is this allowed? You know, you can mix the measurements. If I hit the tab, InDesign does.
Do the math.
Let InDesign do the math. You don't have to do the math. Okay. But wait, it gets better.
There is more.
There is always more.
Always.
So I'm going to come here, and I've got this object, and I would like it to be, 1/3 its size.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to come back and look at this up here. 1/3. Okay. Well, I could divide 3 into 34, or that would be 1 and 3, but then you have got a 1 pica over, and then it's too much. My head hurts.
Okay.
My head hurts.
Happens.
So, yeah. There are drugs for that.
There are drugs. Yeah.
There are drugs. So what I'm going to do right now is 34p6 divided by 3. And if I hit the tab, InDesign does
do the math.
You're never going to forget this.
I don't know.
If I want to
It's
multiply.
here forever.
These are basically, here are all your things. Multiplication is the asterisk.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I want it twice the size times
By
2 equals that. You saw what division was.
Yeah.
Divided by 3, tab, and plus or minus. So that's the plus sign or minus.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yes,
Very simple.
You know, sometimes we launch the calculator application. We should launch InDesign. I don't know why we.
But just to remember, this is done in Illustrator. All of this, the same thing in the map. Photoshop doesn't quite do all of it.
Here's a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. So now, basically, what you do is try the math. If it doesn't work, you'll get an error.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, it doesn't work.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Perfect. I'm trying to think, do you have any questions?
Oh, I mean, we can ask our friends because they're all like, wow. Look at that. They're like, oh my God, please give us more math. This is awesome. Thank you, Sandee. Anchor points, can you move the anchor points X and Y?
Can I move the anchor points using map? Oh. I can in Illustrator.
It's a good question.
Yes, it's a very good question. I can in Illustrator. Now, what can I do in InDesign? See, this is what happens when you answer something on the fly. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. All right, I'm gonna, again, keyboard shortcuts. I'm tapping the letter A. And the letter A gives me the direct selection tool. Instead of the black arrow, now I'm in the white one.
Yes.
I'm gonna highlight just that anchor point up there. And I'm going to zoom in. Check out this. Usually you have a rectangle here, but right now it's saying I only have a one dot. I have 1 point.
And now you can do the math.
Now I can do the math
Sandee.
and move the points precisely.
Yeah.
I
Using
do.
factors, like I want to move. Even percentage should work.
Yes.
Yeah, it should, I mean, no, it will.
So the whole point here is I never do guides.
Okay.
Because everything is being done on the control panel. If I want to move the whole document up, I would zoom into the Y measurement
Okay.
and just increase it to 20p. And move it around. Again, everything is being done.
That's how you, okay, that's interesting. It makes sense.
You're looking at me with like.
It makes sense. It's interesting. It's the first time I see that.
Oh, one more thing though.
Yeah, let's do
One
it.
more thing. So let's say I go to the move dialog box. Just to let you know, anywhere in the program that you have fields that have numbers,
Oh, everywhere, okay.
plus 1/2 inch, hit the tab, and it will do the math anywhere. So it's not just the control panel.
So it must be the same component. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. That's great. I mean, yeah, they're all amazed, like no one was aware of it. So Sandee's a boss. She's the boss. Yes, she is.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay. I think that's it for me. I'm like
Okay, yeah, thanks.
no other.
And yeah, I hope you're enjoying Max so far.
Oh, I love
keynote.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love all the people.
Oh yeah, we have very good people, a lot of people this year.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
That is the most important reason to go to Max is
Yeah.
to interact
To
and
connect.
meet.
I agree. Networking. I agree.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you
Thank
very
you, Sandee.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Say thank you to Sandee in the chat.
There you go. Great, fantastic.
And now we'll welcome Myra for a new demo. Sandee's the boss. I told you, I got you some experts. Like sometimes I feel they know features that even the engineers, they are not aware of the features. It's very weird. Or they forget, you know? You know, they... So who's next? Myra, let's do it. How are you? Good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. So,
No, I'm on a Surface.
okay, so now, oh,
Mini.
which one is mini? Mini like this?
HDMI, no.
Oh, mini HDMI.
Yeah.
Oh, this one is tough. This one is tough. Let's try this one.
That's not HDMI. Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay, do you have a microphone? Not yet. Okay, it's coming.
Do you want me to go through the slides that I went through yesterday, or do you want to just do demo?
I know, I didn't see the slide, so maybe just demo. I
wanted this
maybe
one
just
last.
demo, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Do you want to talk about the book, or what do you want to?
I don't know, I have no idea. That's what you're going to show. We are with our friends. So we get a mic and we are live.
Yeah, but if we show the slides, you'll see what the cover looks.
If you prefer to show some slides, if it makes sense, that's good.
So,
So Myra, first, I want you to introduce yourself.
oh,
What are you doing? Who you are?
okay. Are we on yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hi, I'm Myra Ferguson, and I'm an Adobe User Group Manager. I've been an Adobe User Group Manager for 12 years, and I started in Columbia, Missouri, and since then I've moved to Colorado, and so now I am sharing Adobe goodness with the folks in Boulder and along the Front Range. So
Nice.
yep, and
And you want to talk about double exposure effects in Animate CC? Good.
right. So actually, I've had an opportunity recently to write a book. It's my first book,
Oh.
and so this is actually a little excerpt from it. So,
Oh, cool. So what is the book?
so here's this is what the book looks like. It's this is the cover. This is How to Cheat in Adobe Animate CC. Chris Georginas authored the
He
previous.
will be live with us tomorrow.
Okay, so yeah, and he's fantastic, and he wrote the series How to Cheat in Adobe Flash, but he's turning it over to me now,
Okay.
which worked out great because it's the name change and all,
Yeah.
but he's also really busy with like other projects.
Yeah, you know Chris. You all know Chris. You will see tomorrow. He's very busy.
Right. So he's a talented author and animator, but he's also
a musician.
a drummer. So he is now living the dream. But it was really my dream to write a book, and so that's why I'm
perfect.
super
It's a great
happy, super happy to get to share a little sample from it. I get to show people now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is the double exposure effect.
Yeah. You see it everywhere.
Right.
Very popular.
Right.
In
So.
movie titles.
Exactly. So it gained popularity from the title sequence in True Detective.
Yeah.
But it's been around since like the early days of like film and stuff. And you can create the effect in Photoshop, but what people might not know is that you can create it in Adobe Animate. It's a simulated effect. So let's jump over to Animate. Okay, so when you're making a double exposure effect, you're going to want two images. And these are images that I've already prepared. The first one is a vector image. And I made this one in Illustrator using trace so that I could get the shape. You need the shape so that you can mask it with the image below. So that's what shows through. But the secret is, the cheat is that you need a little bit of detail in your vector image. So if you make it yourself, just make sure that you have a little bit of other detail in it, or you can even when you search on Adobe Stock, you can look for vectors.
Oh yeah.
And if you do, make sure it's not just a solid shape, but it's got some detail in it. So let's make a layer for our second image. And so on this layer, I'm going to pull it down below the mask layer, and I'm going to go to my library, and I'm going to grab the other image, and this is a photo of the band rehearsing. I've already sized it the way that I want and darkened it a little bit. I'm going to place it so that it's going to work with this image. So now what I want to do is mask the shape of the musician, make it a mask so that the other image shows through. And I'm going to do that by selecting the mask layer that I want to make the mask, right-click on it, and I'm going to go to mask. When I do that, it masks out what's behind it. So now this is pretty good, but this is just a mask. Yeah, so this is what I mean by you sell the effect when you bring in a little bit more detail. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to unlock the layer. So Animate automatically locks the layers. That's how it shows the effect. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to copy this, which I've already made as a movie clip. I'm going to copy it, make a new layer. Let's lock the mask layer. Select the frame on the new layer. And I'm going to paste it in place. Okay, now it looks like we're starting over because he's opaque. But this is where we're bringing in our extra detail. And you can bring in other, like one of the details that we can add is like color. So the school colors are black and gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tint. Since it's an instance of a symbol, I'm going to select the instance and I'm going to go to color effect. I'm going to add a tint, and you can make it whatever you want by like selecting, a color swatch. But if you happen to remember something super easy like A89 145, it's just on the top of my head. Then you can apply the gold color to it. Okay, but it's still opaque, right? So we need to be able to see through it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use blend mode. Okay, and the blend mode we're going to use is add. And when I do that, then the image shows through.
It's coming.
Yeah, so we're really close now.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. I mean, we could almost be done now. But just to take it just a little bit further, I'm going to add one more layer. And if you drag it down to the bottom, then it, that's where we want it to be, so it's on the bottom. But if it's indented, it's going to get masked.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that it's, you got to go a little bit further to the left, and then it won't be masked.
Sure.
Okay. So if I go to my library, I've already made a background for this, and it's really just a gradient. Yeah, but I've got it already rotated and the size and stuff that I need, and I've placed the gradient so that it starts about where the mouthpiece is, so it kind of brings a little, attention to that detail. And there we have a simulated double exposure effect in Adobe Animate CC.
Yeah. And then you still have the timeline, you just apply effects. So this is something that you can animate.
Right, exactly. So the next step would be, you could have the band actually practicing in the background, and you get the idea. Yeah. So when you juxtapose the images, then you can, tell a story with it. With like, here's the musician, and he carries the band, and they all perform together, and so you can really make some interesting effects with it.
Nice.
Tell a story.
Maybe you can show your book again to your friends.
Okay.
The slides.
And let's see.
That's the second one, yeah.
Yep.
So how to teach in Adobe Animate CC.
There it is. There.
This is on Amazon.
We are. It is on Amazon.com right now for pre-order. It'll be a little while till it's actually out. Just finished up the manuscript and the assets, so they still have some things that they need to do before it's done. But I mean, it's done, but not done. So, but you can check it out.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much. Yeah, great.
See you around.
All right.
Enjoy Max.
Thank you. I am.
Cool. Let's find our next speaker. If there was one, I don't know. Okay, let's do it. We have one more speaker.
Do you want me to go ahead and unplug?
Oh yeah, you can unplug.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. That was really fun.
Yeah, it was cool. And yes, you can follow Myra. Yeah, Myra Ferguson on Twitter. That's it. Ah. And now we end with the artist. You end with the masterpiece artist.
Oh yeah, that's me.
So we're gonna end our. The last expert is Jesus Ramirez, and great talent. He's making a masterpiece live at Max.
I am.
But he's here with us, and we are live. So if you can introduce yourself to our friends.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Jesus Ramirez. You probably know me from the Photoshop training channel on YouTube. PhotoshopTrainingChannel.com is the website. How's everybody doing?
Oh, they're doing good. They are enjoying all the tips and tricks. So what do you want to present today?
Well, let's show. You know what? I had one in mind, and I was going to do it, and I can do it, but I think I can do I think I can do two.
Okay, let's try.
Let's try two. How much time do we have?
We have 15 minutes.
Oh, perfect. I need 10.
Oh, 10 is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. So I'm going to show a trick for designers,
Okay.
and I'm just going to open up a new document. It's going to be a blank document, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can use the Swatches panel to import colors into Photoshop that are found on different types of files like CSS files, HTML files, and SVG files. So you can use them on your projects in Photoshop. So maybe you're working on an old website.
Web designers.
Yeah. So I'm going to click on the flyout menu. And I'm going to click, I could do load swatches, which is going to load swatches in addition to the ones that I have, but instead I'm going to do replace, so I only keep the new ones. So you guys can see what's going on. replace swatches. There it is. I'm gonna go into the desktop, and you're gonna have to excuse me because I just loaded this onto here. So there it is. I have a folder called CSS SVG, and I have two files, an SVG file and a CSS file. So I'm gonna use the CSS file first. I'm gonna click on it, I'm gonna press open, and it loads the colors found in the CSS file onto
So it will
Photoshop.
parse the entire CSS files and find all the color codes?
Yes, it finds all the color codes in
Wow.
Photoshop. So, and actually, just to show you guys,
So cool.
let me go ahead and open up that CSS file for just a second so you can see what a CSS file looks like
Yeah.
for those people
If
who
you're
are not.
familiar,
Yeah. So we have a CSS file, and this is code that applies color or style elements to HTML and anything for web design. Any
So these days,
tag.
like, yeah. So with HTML, you will say there is a div or there is a box here, and then with CSS, you will say I want a blue border, I want rounded corner.
Yeah.
You apply the style.
So I'm going to scroll down, and I'm quickly going to find a color here. Let me see. This is all CSS, and I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. There's a background color right here. So pick that color. What that looks like? What, white or something? Gray. So any type of color found on this HTML goes onto the color swatches
that's
panel.
fantastic.
And the one cool thing about it is that if a color is repeated, it's not repeated in the color swatches panel.
Wow, and we have a good question by Ryan asking, okay, but what if I open HTML document? Does it go to the inline CSS?
Yeah, it looks
I
through
think
the it looks through the entire document.
Entire,
It's
I think
looking
it
for
will work.
tags that are color. There's different kinds of tags that could be color or but anyway, so that's
great.
one thing that you can do. And I was going to show that, but now I have another thing that I want to show you that I think you guys will enjoy. This is not related to web design. This is for anybody who's out there shooting things with their phone, shooting photos, and maybe you're in a, maybe like right now we're in San Diego. I don't know where you live, but I live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
I live in Paris.
You live in Paris, so you're far away from home.
Yeah.
So when you're walking around, you're taking pictures of things.
Yes.
But a lot of times people get in the way.
Yeah.
Right? So one trick that I like using is taking multiple photos. You got to be standing really steady with your phone.
On the side?
On the side, yes. Looking at, let's say, we're in San Diego. There's something called the gas lamp arc, which is a little arc with the name gas lamp on it. And you can just stand there and shoot one photo, but you're always going to get people in cars, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is with your phone, ideally it's better with a camera and a tripod, but if you don't have one, just stand very still, shoot about 10 photos, 20 seconds apart from each, and then watch what happens. I'm gonna go into File, Scripts, Statistics, and I have a folder.
So this is a script which is installed by default.
Yeah, installed by default. This is nothing extra. This is included with your purchase of Photoshop. Use folder.
A folder, and then you
browse.
pick the folder with
you
your
pick
20
the folder,
pictures.
exactly. So I actually have 9.
Okay.
So let me find the folder. Here it is, stacking. And I'll show you the pictures after I'm done so you can see what it did.
Okay.
So I'm gonna press open. Then under stack mode, I'm gonna choose median, and I'm gonna select attempt to automatically align source images. Now, this may not look awesome when you first look at it because it's a picture, but you're like, what's going on? And I'll show you when it finishes rendering what Photoshop actually did. Notice that it's a photo that I shot in Oakland, California. There's no people, there's no cars. There's a parked car, but that car's not moving. But if I open up the smart object, this is a smart object, it's contents in there. I open that up. Notice that I have multiple images of people walking.
People everywhere.
Right. So what that stack mode did is take away things that are not constant on all the pictures.
Like detecting the pixels and say, oh,
that's
is not in the other picture, so it should be removed.
And the background will always be there.
Nice.
So now, watch what happens when I close this. I'm not going to save it. Notice that even the cars that are going through the street and the people walking, they're all gone. They're not there because they're not constant on every image.
That's amazing.
There you go.
And this could work, with,
so,
any monument.
Yeah, so when you're out shooting anything, even at home, anywhere, just make sure that you take multiple shots, 20 or so seconds apart, so that people have time to move and people have time to get out of the way, and just combine the photos as quickly as you saw there.
They're like, what? They don't believe it. They don't believe you. You can
awesome.
try. It's
awesome.
in Photoshop.
Yeah, so if you guys like those tricks, check out my Photoshop.
Yeah, so what is your, how can they find you?
You can type in Photoshop training channel on YouTube, or my website is PTC Vids, and I can actually show you the website so you guys can see it here. So type in ptcvids.com, which is a short URL to my website. I have a ton of Photoshop tutorials. I have tutorials on the new version of Photoshop that just came out today that you can watch. I have all kinds of stuff. PTC Vids. Also, if you're on Instagram, my handle is JR from PTC, and you can follow me as there as well. And as you can see, I've been taking photos of
Nice, of the Max experience.
Max experience.
Because, yeah, maybe you can just explain. So at Max, you are doing a live masterpiece?
Yes, this is I mean, it's not a picture of the
Yeah.
the masterpiece, but I'm being interviewed here by the Adobe stock team. I'm one of the people recreating a painting using only Adobe stock images in Photoshop.
Wow.
So check that out.
Good. That was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. They really liked it.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I think you're the last one.
I'm the last one.
So you can stay with me, and we will say goodbye, Andrew.
Okay.
So it was a great stream. Tomorrow we will be back with the day 2 keynote at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Go on AdobeLive.com to check the time. And there will be Quentin Tarantino. I mean, he knows how to make movies.
Yeah, he does.
He's okay.
He's
For a
made
newbie.
one or two good ones.
So it will be awesome.
Or
And then we move back here, and we will have a Kyle Webster from Calbrush. He will be live with us. Martina Flor. So we will have like 5 or 6 artists as today. So be with us, ask questions. There will be more giveaways. And see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right.